Hi all, it is Anahita Rao back again, talking about the planet series today. So we're going to speak about KETU now. We've spoken about Rahu, and now it's KETU. So KETU is basically the other part of Swarbhanu, and the body without is the body. So now, being headless, KETU can show a very unstable, wavering energy in the birth chart. It's got sort of, this is why it's associated with that Mendic, you know, the spiritual, the sadhus, the wandering saints, and so on. It is, of course, a higher octave of Mars. And so it will also be very impulsive and fiery in its nature. It will act first and it will think later, similar to Mars. In the mythology, KETU embodies the energy of Ganesha, which is the son of Shiva, and as we know, Kartika is the other son of Shiva, which is representative of Mars. Wherever KETU is situated, you will feel overconfident there to some degree, and you also might feel a sense of awkwardness and uncomfortableness because it's the type of energy that you're perhaps all too familiar with in your subconscious. So you're trying to avoid it because you're trying to go to the place where Rahu is. But at the same time, you're very confident about it, and so you tend to reject that place in your life, especially when you're going through the Rahu KETU dasha. There is there are also some people have experienced KETU as a place in the chart where they feel some level of emptiness, and there's a void there that you're always attempting to fill. Again, through past life, subconscious memories and desires. That's the place that you've supposedly mastered, and you've been there, and it's a place that you're very comfortable with, but you're trying to at the same time get away from it. That's what I've noticed in clients' charts when I've seen them. Another thing that I've noticed with KETU placements, it also shows rejection. So if it's placed, for example, in the 7th house, this can lead to rejection of the spouse. Either you're rejecting them or they're rejecting you, and it sort of happens throughout that because depending on how strong that energy is over there. Reason being is that KETU is in essence quite critical. And it's always seeking perfection. It's also impulsive and fiery in its nature, so the way that it goes about it is very sort of cutthroat and insensitive. And through these qualities comes that rejection, because nothing is ever good enough for KETU. There's a sense of very similar to Rahu. The nodes symbolize that sense of dissatisfaction wherever they're placed. This is why this energy doesn't work at all in the material houses, the Artha houses in a chart. It just doesn't do very well there at all. And therefore it's more suited to the Moksha houses, because the Moksha houses' goals are ultimately to let go. And KETU is by nature very good at that. So now the biggest remedy for KETU is to offer love where it's placed rather than rejection, and to surrender where it is, because the tendency will be to try to control that house, that whatever it symbolizes in your chart. The other thing is it is very essential to create stability where KETU is, because once you have done that, then it will be much easier to handle Rahu. KETU is the foundation when it comes to the nodes. So unless you have KETU functioning very well, you're not going to get any good results from Rahu. So you have to attend to the KETU energy. The tendency tends to be to dismiss Ketu and just go after what Rahu symbolizes, especially when you're experiencing Rahu's dasha. I often find that to be the case. You're so focused on what Rahu is and where it's pulling you that you forget about Ketu, and unless you have grounded the Ketu energy, Rahu is going to take you in all kinds of directions and cause a lot of chaos, which it will anyway. But if you've got the Ketu energy grounded, then it'll be a lot easier to handle. Ketu being naturally it's the body, so you have to have the body sort of in good shape in order to sort of maintain the head, which is Rahu. So the foundation is laid there. Ketu is the Karaka for occult science, as we all know. Detachment. It comes from the Ketu energy. Moksha, pain, surrender. Wounds. Dogs are signified by Ketu. Birds are also signified by Ketu. Your maternal grandfather. Imprisonment is also signified by Ketu. Ketu with Mercury can make someone very intuitive and psychic. Ketu with the moon makes someone quite self-critical, I found. Because it's absorbing the energy of the moon. And they can suffer from a lot of confusion and moodiness on a continuous basis. But then this can also lead to refined intuition if you basically implement some kind of spiritual practice in your life, which is very important if you have Ketu and Moon together, particularly if you're going through any of the nodes, dasha. Ketu with Venus makes one very idealistic in love. Ketu with Mars can be extreme anger and violence. It can also sort of be symbolic of terrorism and sort of very explosive kinds of events. Ketu with Jupiter can make one very, very spiritual in their nature, and I've often seen this, whether Ketu is sitting with Jupiter or whether they're aspecting each other. This combination works very, very well. Particularly if they're in moksha houses, then yes, you're talking about someone who's got a highly refined spiritual, intuitive nature. Ketu with Saturn is quite difficult. It makes someone detached from your worldly responsibilities, and they're always questioning themselves, and they're full of self-doubt, and they're full of fears and anxieties, which is what comes from Saturn. But also, on the other hand, this combination is seen in the charts of a lot of spiritual seekers. So you can actually turn that energy into your favor. Eventually, the ultimate goal for both Ketu and Saturn is to disconnect from the world, because detachment is something that they're both seeking. But unfortunately, Saturn also represents our worldly responsibilities and the burdens that we're here to bear. So with Ketu there, it makes it extremely difficult to do that. So it's something that I find that when you see the maturity of Ketu happen, which is approximately the age of 48, Ketu and Saturn, that's when you start to see the positive side of this conjunction, and that's when it starts to manifest in the spiritual way. So it has great potential to do that. So I hope you found that helpful. Please subscribe below and check out my website when you get a chance. Thank you very much for listening.